good morning, and today is a day of a grim milestone. At least the media will be shouting it from the rooftops, although there's a lot of distractions for the media today, and I'm going to probably stick with one of the distractions and maybe a few other things and not talk so much about the main milestone that certainly the COVID people or the media really wants to talk about today. And I got a feeling that that will be, well, I don't know. There's going to be things happening in the media that I expected, and they're going to focus on some things that I wish they didn't even have the opportunity to focus on. But anyway, I'm speaking very cryptically right now. Cryptic if you're here. I think I'm being a little bit like you, or at least like your name. I'll explain after the intro. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Night. All right, let's stop the music and we'll start the other music for the day. We're going kind of, it says 60s style rock. I don't know. It kind of is, kind of isn't. Oops, it went off there. We'll just kind of see how it goes. I'm not real familiar with this particular genre on my music service, but good morning and welcome to Morning Night Live. It is Hump Day, Wednesday, the 27th of May. Yeah, it's May still. It's almost June. It's amazing. We've been on lockdown for so long, sometimes you forget what month it is. Although my lockdown has been different than most people's lockdown in that I've never stopped going to work. I've never stopped doing what I do. Other than going out to brunch with Lady Boomer. I really miss that. Just we have a favorite spot. We go to brunch. They have build your own Bloody Marys, and we just enjoy doing that on the weekends once in a while. And I haven't been able to do that since, well, let's see. The last time we went to a restaurant was March 5th. It's funny because we were talking about that last night, saying how the last time we went out to dinner or lunch or any type of thing like that was March 5th. It was at there's this English style pub in our town that we frequent once in a while, and we haven't been able to do that. It's just a bummer. So anyway, welcome to the Morning Night Live. If you like what we do during the show, hit the like button. Also, if you're not subscribed, subscribe and hit the bell. And super chats and things like that are done through the Streamlabs link. That'll show up in the whoops, the music went off. That will show up in the chat every once in a while. It'll also show up. It's in the description down below. It's already there. Let me see if I can do this without turning that music off. There we go. I got it to a better volume. So let's say a quick hello to everybody before I get into this, because I don't know how much I will pay attention to the chat today, at least during this particular topic. Good morning to Black Hebrew Israelite, who's in the house and was here first and gets the bell. You get a little double whammy there. Good morning, Richo, my friend from down under. Good morning, E. Michael. Also, Mike Savage and Jaeger Pony and Renee Mayette. Good morning, Grillin' Pirate Pete, Gunfox61, D.I. Freighter, W.R. Costin, the gayest person on YouTube. Now, let's not get that confused. W.R. Costin is not the gayest person on YouTube. The gayest person on YouTube is a completely separate entity from W.R. Costin. So please don't, well, not there's anything wrong with that, but don't get that messed up or mixed up or whatever. They're two separate people. Also, good morning to Chicago Mike, Donatello, Slopperfellow, Cynical Lindsay, Jaeger Pony, Gulf City, Johnny Blaze is in his owl. Also, Mike Savage, Blarg, and Kyra Alexander, hello, and MC, where you been? Hammer Time's in the house, and Mad Max, Good morning. Good morning to Anna Lynn. Katie did skate. Did I miss anybody here yet? I think I've hit everybody so far. Oh, and Stabbing Joe Scarborough. Please don't hurt me, sir. All right. So, the first topic of the day, and it has to do with my title, No Justification. In my town where I live, or the metro area where I live. Good morning, Truck and Bear, too. I'm sorry, I almost missed you there. In my town, my chosen place of residence, which is the greater metro Twin Cities, we had an incident where a police officer, during arrest, killed a gentleman. And it's weird because I've not seen a single person try to justify this, at least the actions of the police officer. Now, I don't really care what this guy did that they were arresting. Okay, it doesn't matter. I don't care if he was smacking his own grandma upside the head. I don't care if he was, did a mass murder. I don't care. It's irrelevant what they were arresting this man for. I'm not a person who gets riled up about all these police incidents. There's some that are, you just have to go with the facts. Normally I have a 3 to 5 day rule. Let's get all the facts, this and that, blah, 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 blah. But in this particular case, now I'm not going to show the video on my stream. I know some people have been showing it and whatnot. I'm not going to. But for 7 minutes, this man had his knee on a man's neck, while 2 other officers were subduing this fellow. And I believe they even had him handcuffed for a good part of it. And no matter what the man did, I don't care if he's a murder suspect. I don't care if he was a jaywalking suspect. I don't care if he was just mouthing off to police. I don't care if he was selling crack to 12-year-olds. It doesn't matter. Once the police have a man in custody, it is their responsibility to not harm that person. Now, the man, what's interesting when I was watching the video, the people who were filming the video and were standing by, not one person in the beginning of the video was arguing with the police officers. And I found that fascinating because a lot of times in these incidents, the people who are standing around watching it happen are saying, let him go, don't do this, don't do that, but they weren't. So the people standing around this incident knew the man was getting arrested for a legitimate reason. However, like I said a minute ago, or whenever I said it, I'm reeling from this one because this one really pisses me off. I mean, it's usually these incidents I look for the facts. This one's different. The officers have a responsibility to keep this man alive so that he can be tried for whatever he's being tried for. And they had him subdued. The people were watching this for over 7 minutes. There are 3 officers controlling the man, and then 1 officer standing in front trying to make sure that no one bothered him. But the people were there at first weren't even trying to intervene. They're like, yep. And you hear them talking because, just go, man. Just do what they say because you fucked up. The dude fucked up. He's being arrested for something legitimate. And even if he had resisted arrest during part of this incident, by the time we're watching the video, they have him subdued. So when these people are starting to say, that guy's not looking too good. You might want to get off his neck. He says he can't breathe. Oh, blood's coming out of his nose. All these cues, and the officer trying to keep people back, never even looks down. And the officer with his knee on his neck never even just, he's acting there like, I don't know what his issue was. He was acting like, I don't care. And the poor guy was, what, Anwar? Anwar al-Shamari. I can't believe they're still racist. I'm not, I don't know where that came from. Whatever you, I can't believe there's still racism in the USA. Nah, I can believe that. That's what happened to the police officer. All 4 of them have been fired. All 4 officers have been fired, and I'm pretty confident there'll be charges against at least 3 of them, maybe all 4. They should have, but the man dies because of their neglect, their lack of operational, what's the word for it? Operational awareness. This was a huge fail, and I'm telling you, the officer, particularly the one with the knee on the man's neck, should be charged. Okay, he's gonna go to jail for some form of homicide. Okay, I don't know what the charges will be. I don't know if they're gonna try to sweep this under the rug. It's gonna be impossible. So anyway, here's an article from the Daily Wire. 4 Minneapolis officers fired after video showing black man killed during arrest. Mayor gives impassioned statement. Renee Matt, I agree. It almost seemed like malice. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what his mindset was. And I don't know. Now the officer who maybe wasn't involved, who knows what's going to happen. MC, I disagree with you. I doubt they'll be charged with anything. I don't know. We'll find out. 4 Minneapolis police officers involved in an arrest Monday that resulted in the death of an African-American man have been fired. A decision the city's mayor declared the right call ahead of the announcement of the officer's termination. The mayor gave an impassioned statement condemning the officer shown in a viral video with his knee on the neck of the man for having failed the most basic human sense. Now, the other part of this is, too, the officers all had their body cams on, too, so there's going to be additional footage. But I don't want anyone to get bogged down in what the guy did. The guy very well may have resisted arrest. Again, the people who are standing around watching and filming this from a citizen's perspective, okay, they weren't arguing about this man getting arrested. In fact, one of them was, I think he said he was either working in the store where they called the police or something. They weren't even arguing about him being arrested. They didn't start getting confrontation with the police until the guy wouldn't get off the guy's neck, and the guy was obviously having distress. Anyway, in the disturbing video streamed on social media Monday, warning graphic content, the Minneapolis police officer, who is white, is shown kneeling on a handcuffed black suspect's neck for multiple minutes while the man pleads for them to get off, saying repeatedly that he can't breathe. As reported by the Star Tribune, the sequence of events that resulted in the ultimately fatal arrest caught on video around 8 p.m. Monday when officers were called to Cub Foods. Why is everyone calling it Cup Foods? I saw this in an AP report too. It's Cub Foods, as in bear cub or lion cub. It's Cub Foods. God damn it. How do they, well, anyway, I think that's because they got it from the here, I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna look at the local article too. I'll click that up. Over alleged attempt to use a counterfeit bill. That's a big problem in the Twin Cities. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but there's a big problem with counterfeit money in the Twin Cities. I know that we all are always on the watch out for it in our stores and that I work in. Anyway, police say they found a man, George Floyd, who met the description of the suspect Video streamed to Facebook Live shows Floyd lying on the ground, an officer kneeling on his neck, while Floyd pleads with him to get off so he can breathe, and informing the officers that my stomach hurts, my neck hurts, everything hurts. By then, several other witnesses had gathered on the sidewalk outside of Cub Foods, with several recording the scene on their phones. The Star Tribune notes some of the witnesses eventually yelled at the officer to get off the suspect. Floyd eventually stopped moving. On Tuesday afternoon, the Minneapolis mayor, Jacob Fry, announced that the 4 officers involved in the incident have been fired. 4 responding MPD officers involving the death of George Floyd have been terminated. Fry announced on Twitter that is the right call. As reported by the Tribune, along with being fired, the officer who is shown in the video kneeling on Floyd's neck is also now being investigated by federal authorities for possible civil rights violations. After the video first surfaced, Mayor Fry delivered an impassioned statement condemning the officer's actions. Being black in America should not be a death sentence. Okay, now I know, for fuck's sake, the problem I hate with this type of rhetoric is that it's not. We know of every incident that happens to black Americans because they get amplified, and obviously the camera angle that who said that? Someone said that in the chat, that it's because we have cameras now, but we don't hear about any other incidents. There are so many incidents of people all races, but right now, especially in the media, this will get amplified, and I don't mind that it gets amplified, but I wish that all incidents of police brutality were amplified like this. And it's interesting that it's funny because we have a whole kind of a genre on TV of live real action police officers where you see this all the time happening to people, but not in these the man bite dogs incidents, which we know every name of every single we know the names of all the black people who this happens to. We don't know the people of other races, but that's not even the point here. This officer fucked up and should be charged with at least some form of homicide. Some are saying it was first degree murder because there's this picture going around of some. It's not the same guy, but there's a picture going around saying it's this guy in this MAGA type hat, and but whatever. But this whole situation is it seems like now. In fact, here's an example of what I'm saying. Onward saying it seems like some parts of the USA still living in the 1950s. Hopefully that will change. It's not. Believe me, it's not. You have no idea what you're talking about if you're saying something like that. And maybe it's because of someone of my age who spent my child years in the late 60s and 70s, knowing what things were like way back when compared to now. Y'all motherfuckers have no idea. All right? Now, especially a young child who was one of 4 black kids in my school. When people use the N-word for real, give me a break. It's nothing the same, nothing like it. And also, again, we know every man bites dog events. Okay, we don't hear about every event that's actually killing black men. Because if we did, we'd be ashamed. But, a lot of those incidents. Now, and look, I don't say that people don't care about those events either. Those events all stay local, okay? Those types of events stay local. But if it is a officer and a black person, or a white person and a black person, somehow all those incidents go national. Which I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but that's the case, and that's why you have that perception. All right. After the video first service, Mayor Fry delivered an impassioned statement condemning the officer's actions. Being black in America should not be a death sentence. That's some hyperbolic BS, if you ask me. I've been black for 55, 56. How old am I? So somewhere, and I'm still kicking. Okay. And I don't worry about my son because my son, well, whatever. There are incidents of the man, every man bites dog incident is not the norm. Let's just put it that way. But anyway, for 5 minutes, we watched a white officer press his knee into a black man's neck. 5 minutes, when you hear someone calling for help, you're supposed to help. Absolutely. I don't disagree with that at all. In fact, as soon as they had that man subdued in handcuffs, they should have been protecting him, not continuing to put pressure on him. That's another reason why I think that this officer will be charged in this incident. This officer failed the most basic human sense. He stressed what happened in Chicago on 38th Street last night is awful. It was traumatic. It serves as a reminder how far we have to go. No, Mayor Fry. It tells you that maybe your police officer blew it. This is not. This is an arrest incident. It's. I guarantee you, if I search for 5-10 minutes on the internet, I'll find several other people who were killed by a police officer yesterday in similar incidents, and that's a training incident. Whatever. But this is the one that gets amplified. Fine. But we have some issues with some police officers in certain situations. For the better part of the night, this is Mayor Fry continuing. For the better part of the night, I've been trying to find the words to describe what happened, said the mayor. All I keep coming back to is this. This man should not have died. What we saw is horrible, completely and utterly messed up. The man's life matters. He matters. He was someone's son, someone's family member, someone's friend. He was a human being, and his life mattered. Absolutely. Whatever the investigation reveals, it does not change the simple truths. He should still be with us this morning, Fry added. I believe what I saw is wrong on every level. This does not reflect the values. Police Chief Medaria Arredondo has worked tirelessly to fulfill to our black community, to the family. I'm sorry. High-profile lawyer Benjamin Crump. I can't stand that dude, but you know what? This is one case where he's probably going to be 100% right. Who has taken on other major cases, including Ahmaud Arbery's, announced Tuesday that he's been retained by the Floyd family and has condemned the actions of the officers, not only police brutality, but as murder. Forgery is not a crime punishable by death, Crump tweeted. Yes, we know that, Crump. And tweeted along with a 2-minute clip of the graphic video. This was not only police brutality, it is murder. First, Eric. Now, okay, don't compare this to Eric Garner. Eric Garner should not be dead either, but it's not the same. Okay, Eric Garner wasn't choked to death, and I can prove it. I've watched that tape so many times. This is a case where the man, his actions alone killed this man. Eric Garner, there were a lot of complicating factors on why Eric Garner died, particularly his severe asthma and the exertion of when he was resisting arrest. Yes, the officer's arm went out around his neck for 1.3 seconds. I've timed it. But other than that, and also, Eric Garner shouldn't have been arrested anyway. Eric Garner should have been given a citation. That was the damn state of New York being a little overzealous in prosecuting people selling cigarettes illegally, as directed by the governor of the state and the mayor. So there you go. This abusive, excessive, inhumane use of force cost the life of a man who was being detained by the police for questioning about a nonviolent charge. Absolutely right, Mr. Crump. Again, it's the police's responsibility, if you're making an arrest, for the safety of the person you are arresting. Anyway, it's actually a racist country, unfortunately, because of the rich, though, grew up around wealth, and they used to be so mad to see my darkness. My family is actually multiple times what they are. I'm not sure where you live, Cairo, unless you actually live in Cairo. But anyway, Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman promised a thorough but expedited investigation into the incident. I don't like the word expedited, although I suppose there's not a whole lot to investigate. There's plenty of film showing what happened. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, by the way, for the super chat. Okay, I'll be charitable in this case. The color of the officers and the suspect is not relevant. The officer stayed on his neck until the ambulance arrived, which means he showed a callous disrespect for the man's life.
That's right.
Fuck these police officers.
That's right.
I'm. That's where I'm at too. And it wasn't that they. You know what? The problem is there wouldn't have had to be an ambulance had they just, once they had him cuffed, got him in the car. And in fact, several times they said, just get in the car. And the guy has his knee on his neck. The man can't get on in the car. So anyway, every person is entitled to fairness. No person stands above the law, including the officers. So, I hope they throw this asshole in jail. At least the one in particular. Now, the officer who's doing crowd control, I don't get it. Never to look back once, maybe. And the thing is, too, as you watch this video, you can tell the people in the video understand why the man's being arrested in the beginning of the video. So they're not even trying to interfere with the arrest. And in fact, one of the people, you can hear them talking to you, you can tell that one of those people is saying something about why the guy's being arrested. So they were all cool about it until the man wouldn't get off his neck. It's amazing to me. So I'm going to move on here. This is the Star Tribune, which is our local paper here. Minneapolis police protesters clash almost 24 hours after the George Floyd's death in custody. Now, I remember seeing on Twitter last night, someone was talking about friggin' insult to people's intelligence when you have a video of the murder and they say we need to investigate to determine what happened. Yeah, you know what? That's what I'm saying. What are you investigating? You already see this video, and again, here's the thing. The officers were doing their duty, and if up to the point, and whether or not the man resisted arrest, whether or not they were arguing with the man, whatever, they were doing their duty up until the point where they had him subdued. And at the point they had him subdued, they had an obligation to protect the man, not continuing to stand on his neck. And I have no idea if they I don't care what comes up on those body cams. I don't care if he kicked one of them in the nuts. The dude in the nuts, the guy who had his knee on his neck, I don't care if he kicked him in the nuts. The dude still has an obligation as a professional police officer who's supposed to be protecting the community and preserving the community to keep the suspect alive and safe so that they can resolve the issues that the guy has to face after he's been arrested. 4 officers were fired after a video showed one of them kneeling on a handcuffed black man's neck, ignoring pleas that he couldn't breathe. Now, it annoys me. I don't know why it annoys me. The fact that they have to say a handcuffed black man's neck in this article, is it relevant? I suppose if you want to make sure that everyone we can find ways to make more people mad about it. And this is one that everyone should be mad about. I have not heard a single person yet. I'm sure there's going to be some asshole. They'll find one asshole on the internet with like 20 followers on Twitter who's going to say, well, something, he was resisting arrest or some bullshit. Or Candace Owen will say something stupid. But I don't even think look, Brandon Tatum someone said it earlier in the chat, Brandon Tatum didn't even try to justify this. And you know, he's always pro-police. And he says this is bad. This is a bad one. But I think, if I remember right, Brandon Tatum also said that about the Walter Scott case, the guy running away and the police officer shot him in the back. So, I mean, but you know, if it's fucked up and Brandon Tatum says the officers were wrong. 4 Minneapolis police officers were fired Tuesday after the detention of 47-year-old George Floyd. A scene unfolded on a Facebook video showing a white officer. See, they always got to put in the white and black because you gotta make it a little more spicy. You know, yes, it's a fact that it was a white officer. It's a fact it was a black man. I know they never say that when it's, you know, if the suspect is white, but you know what? They'll get more attention if they do it this way. So that's okay. I see what they're doing. And again, dog bites man incident. I bet you there were 100 arrests in the Twin Cities over the last weekend where there was no incident whatsoever. And I'll bet you some of them were black people. I'll bet you some of them were white people. I bet there might have been a couple of Hispanics and a Laotian and whatever. I'll bet you there weren't. I bet you that happened. But this is one where the worst thing could happen happened, and there's a racial aspect to it. So, man, let's put this one in the paper because this is going to get us some clicks. Black Hebrew Israelite with $2. Here comes the race-baiting lawyers and activists who will only see this as an opportunity to enrich themselves of the anger and stupidity average MSM viewers, gullible public. Yeah, I'm sure.
That's right.
I'm sure, and the that's right that he always puts in there. I'm sure Martin Luther Cream will be out here talking about this, probably raising money for the Floyd family that you'll never know where that money goes. I'm sorry, that'd be Talcum X, that'd be Sean King if you don't know who I'm talking, who Martin Luther Cream is. Anyway, Floyd died at Hennepin County Medical Center soon after the encounter. No, he did not die soon after the encounter. And I'm not going to accept that when I read that. Floyd died during the encounter. It was very clear that he died during the encounter. Stop saying that, MSM. Which started when police detained him Monday evening on suspicion of trying to pass a fake $20 bill at a convenience store. Oh, maybe it was a Cup Foods then, because Cup Foods is a full-size grocery store. Maybe it is Cup Foods. Maybe it might be a local convenience store for all I know. I'm not familiar. I have to look that up. I'll have to go out check that out. FBI launched an investigation Tuesday as the Minneapolis Police Department fired the officer as well as 3 others who were at the scene. Quick action. The quick action didn't prevent a large protest Tuesday evening that included tense confrontations with police who responded with tear gas. That's something that someone on Twitter last night was mad because, the police were using rubber bullets at this particular protest, and they didn't, there was people out there with guns and shit at that Michigan protest. Completely different animals. The people at the Michigan protest weren't throwing rocks and bottles and shit at the police. But I don't know. I wasn't at this anyway. And again, the same sign from the mayor: being black in America should not be a death sentence. Well, you know what? It's not a death sentence. I get frustrated with this kind of stuff, man. Anyway, that's the same stuff. And then let's see, the New York Post has an article on it also. I'll go into that one too. Minneapolis protesters trash police precinct during clash over George Floyd's death. The protest in Minneapolis over the death of a black man in police custody turned violent Tuesday night, with demonstrators clashing with police and trashing a precinct building, reports said. Several hundred demonstrators at about 6 p.m. splintered off from a mainly peaceful afternoon rally, because it was peaceful at first, but then there's always going to be some of them assholes who are gonna start trashing shit, and you know what? It makes a mostly peaceful protest. It taints it. It doesn't help. If you, damn. Anyway, Floyd was seen in a viral video. Blah blah blah. A group targeted the precinct because it believed It's believed the 4 Minneapolis cops involved in Floyd's arrest, who have all since been fired, worked there, the report said. Unruly protesters spray painted the precinct, tossed rocks at the building's windows, and vandalized at least one patrol car, according to Fox 9 footage. Break that shit. One protester could be heard. I'm sorry, I'm slurring my words. One protester could be heard as others cheered. It's real ugly. An unidentified protester told WCCO, the police have to understand that this is the climate that they have created. This is the climate they created. Well, maybe. But certainly this is a fucked up situation. And, I don't know. Whatever. So anyway, that's that. And that's all I'm going to talk about that particular incident. It's fucked up though. And like I said, I'm trying not to, I don't mean to ignore the chat. I just, this one frustrates the shit out of me. Let's move on though. First, before I move on though, I got to do the shill. Thanks for being here on the Morning Night Live today. The show is sponsored by all of you, the people who watch the Morning Night Live. Please share this stream with your friends and neighbors on the internet. And you can do that by either hitting the share arrow down underneath here, and a couple clicks will take you wherever you want to send it. Or you can follow me on Twitter, Minds Gab. Now, like I said, I'm not all that active on Minds and Gab, but I know some other people are. So if you're active on one of those platforms, repost on those platforms. I am very active on Twitter, though. You can follow me on Twitter at PDawg Night or any of those platforms. And I do post the show each morning, just in case you're not getting your YouTube notifications. But if you do subscribe on YouTube, make sure you click the bell so that you get some of the notifications. Also, if you would be so kind, or if you want to do super chats, I don't have YouTube super chats. If you didn't already know that, you probably do, until I get 1,000 subscribers. So, 1, share the stream and I'll work on that 1,000 subscriber thing. And 2, you can do super chats through the Streamlabs link in the description down below. Black Hebrew Israelite is the top dog of the day in that department. The link is also there in the chat a couple different ways, because this show is sponsored by viewers like you. Support the show with your donations and have your super chats read live on the show. You can click at that link in the chat, and thank you for everyone who does super chat. Thank you everyone who participates in the regular chat. You're just as valuable to me because it makes the show more interesting for all of us. Good morning also. I haven't said hi yet to Jonas Pedersen. Good morning, TC Ball. Straight Sith Male, Annal In, who I did not say hi to earlier, but I am now. Also, good morning, Cairo. I don't know if I said hi to you, but I am going to say it again if I didn't already. Good morning, Cairo Alexander. And I don't know if, and Select a Boy is here. Good morning. Also, I don't know if I said, who was the guy that was here earlier? Blue Dot. Let's see. I can't find it. Maybe you left. If you're still here, Anwar Al-Shamari, if you are still here, welcome to the show. I'm glad you dropped in. Hopefully you're still hanging around, and hopefully you'll be part of the show. Also, good day to Midday Sun. That's the first time I've seen that name. If you've been here before, great. If you haven't, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to make sure you get notifications. All right, let's move on. Apparently the president has been negotiating some healthcare issues during the corona apocalypse, and in that process, he seems to have negotiated the cost of insulin for Medicare enrollees down to $35 a month, and then rips Biden for not doing it. Okay, interesting. Let's see. We have. This is a. Quote, we've reached a breakthrough agreement to dramatically slash the out-of-pocket cost for insulin, Trump said from the Rose Garden during a late afternoon event. You know what's happened to insulin over the years, right? Going through the roof. Yeah, the cost of insulin has gone really out of sorts. I don't know why. most health insurance companies do cover insulin, but apparently it was costing people a lot of money, like especially Medicare, people who are on Medicare and Medicaid. Well, Medicaid not necessarily, because Medicaid covers a lot more of that stuff. But anyway, in the president's typical, okay. Remember when I say that the president is a jackass? I'm saying it in the most lovingly way possible. You know what my thoughts are on that. I think he's the jackass we need sometimes. Sleepy Joe can't do this. That I can tell you. He added of Joe Biden, who didn't do anything to lower the drug prices in 8 years in the Obama administration. Oh, man. Okay, whatever. From the New York Post, a deal struck with the nation's insulin manufacturers and healthcare providers will limit the copay for a month's supply of insulin to $35, a 66% reduction to the current cost, White House counselor Kellyanne Conway said. The initiative will apply to the 1 in 3 Medicare enrollees who have diabetes, which is approximately 3 million people. The announcement comes on the heels of hearings and to the rising costs of insulin in the United States. With one diabetic groom-to-be dying in 2019 after switching to a cheaper version to help pay for his wedding. Okay. The announcement comes on the heels of, having a more predictable out-of-pocket cost will help seniors adhere to their doctor's orders, Conway told reporters on a briefing call. Now, wait a minute. What? Okay, no, wait. That last sentence makes me confused. With one diabetic groom-to-be dying in 2019 after switching to a cheaper version. Okay, was the 2009, does this groom-to-be who died in 2019 on Medicare? Yeah, I don't get it. Well, anyway, so, yeah, Cairo Alexander, I hear you. It seems to be kind of a medical extortion. I don't know why the cost of insulin has gone up so much, but so Trump was able to negotiate that down, and that sounds like, let's see, my mother's on insulin, but she's she's on a very low dose of it. But anyway, the initiative will be unveiled during an event in the White House Rose Garden with Trump and the nation's healthcare executives. The plan, effective for January 2021, will save seniors approximately 56%, or an average of $446 each year in insulin co-pays, said Seema Verma, administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Okay, so that's some good news. Also, let's see, what's this other one? Trump. Now this is News Thud, which is obviously very pro-Trump. So sometimes you have to just understand the language in the article, but I just thought the way they put this was funny. Trump checkmates Pelosi, makes deal to lower drug costs for seniors on Medicare while Nancy debates. President Trump is doing what he can with Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats in control of the House of Representatives. Pelosi can and will block or delay certain programs Trump is trying to push through, and one does wonder what the hell Paul Ryan was doing when the GOP controlled the entire government. Why did I choose this article? Pelosi is holding up a bill that would help seniors, so Trump is simply going around her and making deals directly with the pharma industry to lower prices. Hey, that's what Trump says his forte is, right? Negotiation. White House counselor Kellyanne Conway said Trump can't wait for the Democratic-controlled Congress to on drug prices anymore. Waiting for them is an act very perilous. The Trump administration will drastically reduce the cost of insulin for American seniors who rely on Medicare by 66%. So this is from ABC. The deal comes as President Trump returns to the issue of drug prices, trying to woo older people whose votes are critical to his re-election prospects. Well, he's been working on this one for a long time, but yeah, absolutely, that's what he's doing. The cost of insulin is one of the biggest worries for consumers generally concerned about high prices for brand name drugs. Millions of Americans with diabetes use insulin to keep their blood sugars within normal ranges to stave off complications that can include heart disease, blindness, kidney failure, and amputations. People with diabetes also suffer worse outcomes from COVID-19. Trump last week told Republican senators at a Capitol Hill meeting he still wants to pass a bill this year to lower drug drug costs, saying, "I think you have to do it," according to a summary from an attendee. Bipartisan legislation to limit price increases and reduce costs for older people with high drug bills is pending in the Senate, although the White House and Pelosi's office were in conversations last year about prescription drug legislation. The relationship between the two leaders has been tense and angry for months. I wonder why. I wonder why. Anyway, White House Counselor Kellyanne Conway told the AP the administration can't wait for the Democratic-controlled House on drug prices. Waiting for them to act is very perilous, which is in the last article. Anyway, so yeah, they're doing some of their own negotiations there. All right, let's move on. Let's see. I'm gonna try to see what I've missed in the chat. Oh, good morning to Advocatus Diaboli, the devil's advocate. Also, good morning, Beck Farley. You came in a little earlier, and I didn't say hi. And straight to the mail, I think I got you. Low Rider, what's happening? And I think I'm caught up. If I haven't said hi to you yet, just put something in the chat, and I'll try to do it again because I forgot. I may have missed you. So there you go. Let's see. Do I want to read this one? New study on lockdowns. How long is this? This one, so we've been talking a lot about the lockdowns, and particularly in some of these states where let's just say the governors are power tripping, right? This is all, I suppose this whole show is about power tripping, that power tripping officer who, I hope they charge him with something. In fact, all three, okay, I'm not going to go back and forth on this. They need to be charged. Horet's new study, lockdowns destroyed nearly twice as many years of life as the coronavirus. Good morning, check your logic, by the way. Well, the New York Times began publishing the names of all those who died from the man-made lockdowns alongside those who died from the God-made plague of the coronavirus. Well, it published a state-by-state and country-by-country dashboard with demographic breakdown of those who lose their lives thanks to these unprecedented political decisions. 4 professors with backgrounds ranging from medicine to economics attempted to quantify the number of lives lost from the devastation of the lockdown itself, something our government failed to simulate when it embarked on this novel policy. Using health and labor data, as well as various actuarial tables, they projected 65,000 lives lost per month of lockdown in the U.S., greater than the loss from the virus. That number was calculated by dividing the estimated 1.1 trillion loss from economic productivity per month of lockdown by 17 million, because the best estimates predict one life lost from suicide, alcohol, or drug abuse, or stress-induced illness per 17 million lost. Now, here's an interesting thing, because I was reading a blurb in the Los Angeles Times, and one of the corners in the Los Angeles Times said that last month they had as many suicides come through their coroner's office in 1 month as they did the entirety of last year. Now, I wish I could go back and find that, but if that's accurate, that's crazy. I mean, the despair that people are having, people who are having trouble feeding themselves, having trouble getting to the food lines, people get depressed, is again, what was that Trump used to say? Is the cure worse than the problem? We're starting to see some of that. Some of the, lives lost due to it. Now, granted, there probably haven't been as many car accidents during this, right? So you may have saved some lives there, but there's definitely some other losses. These financial losses have been falsely portrayed as purely economic, wrote the 4 professors in The Hill on Monday. To the contrary, we calculate that these policies will cause devastating non-economic consequences that will total in millions of accumulated years of lost life in the United States, far beyond what the virus itself has caused. The 4 authors were Scott Atlas of Stanford University's Hoover Institution, John Burge of the University of Chicago's Booth School of Business, Ralph Keeney of Duke University, and Alexander Lipton of the Jerusalem Business School of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. All just just right-wing nut job universities, right? Oh, wait. No, they're not. The point the authors make that lockdowns are destroying so many more cumulative years of life is very poignant to the situation we find ourselves in. For every 1,000 lives lost to the virus, the corresponding 1,000 lives lost to the lockdown will destroy exponentially more life years, because the median age of those who die from the virus is 80, while the median age for deaths caused by the lockdown, those who will die due to suicide, substance abuse, despair, and poverty, is much lower. This point was accentuated by one commentator who compared the cumulative years of life lost to the virus from February 1 through May 13th to the years of life lost to fatalities from the flu and pneumonia over the same time. And so they posted this chart. I'm not going to get into it. I'm going to just assume that it's correct based on what they're saying, or at least it corresponds with what they're saying. I don't know if it's correct or not. As you can see, there were actually more life years lost due to flu and pneumonia, even though this was a mild flu season in most places. And the time frame of reference here doesn't include December and January, which include a large share of the annual flu deaths. We have already seen that doctors in Northern California are reporting more than a year's worth of suicides. Here it is. Here's the article. It was in the Washington Examiner. I'm sorry, I'll put that up there. Doctors in Northern California are reporting more than a year's worth of suicides in just 4 weeks. Knox County, Tennessee experienced 9 suicides in just one 48-hour period in March. On the other hand, there have been only 5 COVID-19 deaths in Knox County over 9 weeks. One can only imagine the number of suicides that will pile up if these draconian measures are continued indefinitely until there's a vaccine, as so many liberal politicians are advocating. Also, the death toll of the economic consequences of the shutdown is just one piece of the pie. As the authors note, stroke patients' evaluations are down 40%. Nearly half of cancer patients have missed their treatments. 2/3 to 3/4 of routine cancer screenings have been delayed. Nearly 85% fewer living donor transplants have occurred, and more than half of childhood vaccinations are not being performed. They estimate that the total years of life lost per month of shutdown from these missed treatments and diagnosis are about 500,000. Okay, what they're doing is they're comparing the months, the time of life lost who dies from coronavirus is an average around 77 years old, I think, or 75 years old. I don't know, it's somewhere in the 70s. So they're saying that you're losing younger people whose years of life lost they're calculated by. In total, they estimated that the lockdown over its entire duration has caused a loss of 1.5 million life years as compared to 800,000 life years from the virus itself. It's truly shocking that nobody in our government has even attempted to model the number of lives lost due to the lockdown. The falsity behind the original virus models became apparent a few days into the lockdown. Any sane government would have weighed the collateral damage at that point and repudiated any severe lockdown, absent clear evidence that it was necessary. European countries and the Israelis have realized this was a big mistake, but our politicians continue to double down on it. Well, some do, obviously. Good morning, Sapphire Dragon, by the way. I don't know about that. Anyway, Yoram Lass, former Director General of Israel's Ministry of Health, said in an interview with online media outlet Spiked that nothing about the virus can justify the destruction of people's lives. So yeah, you get the gist of that. I'm not going to go through the rest. I do want to show you the article that I read, though. It was in the Examiner. I thought it was in the Los Angeles Times. Suicides. Okay, this is the Tennessee one. Let's see. This is Tennessee, and this is. Oh, did I run? Okay, did I hit the same article twice? All right, we'll just do this Tennessee one. Suicides outpacing coronavirus deaths in Tennessee, according to data. More people died of suicide in a single Tennessee county last week than of coronavirus across the entire state, according to one local official. Knox County Regional Forensic Center examined 9 suspected suicides in under 48 hours last week, Knox County Manager Glenn Jacobs said, according to the Tennessee Star. Is what we're doing now really the best approach? How can we respond to COVID-19 in a way that keeps our economy intact, keeps people employed, and empowers our people with a feeling of hope and optimism, not desperation and despair? Jacobs said. State Department of Health data shows 6 people have died of coronavirus in Tennessee as of Sunday morning. Thus far, our reaction to COVID-19 has been to sacrifice the global economy, Jacobs said. The truth is, a sick economy produces sick people. The U.S. economy has been severely slowed by the rapid spread of the virus, which has led to the shuttering of millions of restaurants, bars, and other non-essential, whatever non-essential. Non-essential is what you do for a living, not what I do for a living. I suppose that's what the way they think about it. And non-essential businesses across the country. A record 3.3 million U.S. citizens made unemployment claims earlier in March, reported the Labor Department last week. Several localities in Tennessee have issued safe-at-home orders, and Republican Governor Bill Lee has said he is not ruling out the possibility of a statewide lockdown similar to those in New York and California. Now, this is from March 29th. So I'm sure the numbers are different, but I know that the one I read, I could have sworn it was the Los Angeles Times. That actually was recent, where they said they had more suicides in the last month than they had the entire year last year. So that's not good. All right, let's move on to a little bit different topic. Richard Grenell is declassified. They were getting back into the Russiagate thing and the Spygate and the Obamagate, or whatever the hell y'all want to call it. Did I say hi to Sapphire Dragon? I saw you there. I think I just did, but just to be safe, I'm saying hi again. How you doing? Nice to have you drop in. Grenell declassifies document that's very significant to the origins of the Russia investigation. Richard Grenell, who up until today was the acting director of national intelligence, reportedly declassified more documents related to the Russia investigation in his final days as DNI, including one that is very significant to the origins of the investigation. And I've been hearing about this. Let me take a sip of my reparations coffee because I keep coughing. And it is delicious. The documents include transcripts of the phone calls that then incoming National Security Advisor Michael Flynn had with then Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak, which is at the center of the Obama administration's unmasking scandal. Newly declassified documents will have to be released by the new director, John Ratcliffe, who is sworn in Tuesday morning. Fox News reported that Grenell also completed the declassification review of other documents related to the origins of the Russian probe, including one that senior intelligence official told Fox News was, quote, very significant in understanding how intelligence was manipulated to support launching the Russia investigation. U.S. Attorney John Durham is currently conducting a criminal investigation into the origins of the Russia investigation. Grenell declassified numerous documents related to the Russia investigation that took place over the first 3 years of the Trump administration, including testimonies that were given to the House Intelligence Committee that showed that Obama administration officials had no evidence that the Russians colluded with the Trump campaign, which, those were, it's the same, intelligence officials that were publicly going on all the networks saying, well, we know that he had he colluded with Russia. We have evidence of this and that. And then under oath in the committee, we saw nothing. We hear nothing. There is no we have no evidence. Okay. All right, moving on real quick. We're going to try to get through this one. My alarm didn't go off. Oh, because I shut it off. And then we have one last thing, exclusive. Ex-Inspector General weaponized whistleblower law to impeach Trump. CIA agent turned whistleblower said. So there's a new whistleblower. I wonder if this whistleblower will get as much attention as the other whistleblowers. I'm going to bet that they don't. When President Donald Trump fired Intelligence Community Inspector General Michael Atkinson in April, Atkinson claimed the president fired him for duly passing on the report of the Ukraine whistleblower to Congress, the report that led to Trump's impeachment, and urged whistleblowers to speak out. Oh, be careful what you ask for. According to Pedro Orta, a former CIA agent and whistleblower who allegedly faced multiple rounds of retaliation for attempting to expose abuse of power at a CIA base in 2015, Trump was right to fire Atkinson, and the former IC's IG, posturing on whistleblowers, conflicts with his record of suppressing claims of retaliation. Orta called the source that led to Trump's impeachment the so-called Ukraine whistleblower because he was not a whistleblower as defined by the Intelligence Community Whistleblower Protection Act, and because his report did not concern intelligence activities, so it did not fall under Atkinson's authority. What IG Atkinson basically did was weaponize the ICWPA, which is the Intelligence Community Whistleblowers Protection Act, and the authorities of the ICIG to willfully target President Trump with baseless charges to seek his removal. Orta told PJ Media that alone was more than enough to fire Atkinson.
Gotcha, bitch.
Orta was also argued that the so-called whistleblowers' coordination with Representative Adam Schiff also raises concerns. First, the process was literally illegally weaponized to go after the president. Schiff gave protection, status, and time to take in allegations that suited his political agenda, using the ICWPA for politics and the ICIG as a political puppet to impeach Trump, the former CIA agent explained. The so-called Ukraine whistleblower received immediate attention and protection, while real IC whistleblowers were shunned and ignored by Congress, allowing the IC to run over the real IC whistleblowers. When I say IC, intelligence community, run over the real IC whistleblowers as roadkill. Worse, or to explain that typically the IC will threaten to revoke the clearance and take serious administrative actions against any intelligence community employee who has direct contact with Congress. Oh, but not in this case. When my attorney sought to send documents to Congress in June and July of 2017, a rep from the CIA Office of Congressional Affairs reminded me of administrative penalties and sanctions I would suffer if I had direct communications with Congress. CIA policies prohibit direct employee contact with Congress. Yet, Atkinson's offenses go far beyond his pro-impeachment shenanigans done in the name of protecting whistleblowers. In fact, a report on retaliation against whistleblowers was torpedoed, and Orta appeared to have been the scapegoat. When Atkinson took over as the ICIG, he did nothing to help Orta and other whistleblowers who reportedly faced retaliation. So, I'm not going to read the rest of this, but if you want to, there's a lot more on this one, but seems like the whistleblower, there's a new whistleblower in town, and I bet he's not celebrated as much as that one dude. Eric, what's his name? I don't know. It starts with a C and ends with an A and lots of letters in between. Let's see. Let me see if I'm going to have time for more. No, I actually wanted to get into Twitter trends because there's a whole... Oh, well, actually, no. I actually have to read this one since we're talking about the... Let's skip this. We'll skip this. Oh, there's two more. I might skip Twitter trends today because I really want to get to these two articles because I think they're important. Apparently, the appeals court in the Michael Flynn case has questions for Judge Sullivan. You know, the judge who just wants this to keep going and who hired a lawyer to try to get the wait, what's that? No, let's do the thing. Wants to keep the case going and hired a lawyer to argue against the Justice Department dropping the charges. I don't get it. Well, apparently the appeals court is speaking out. Appeals courts to Flynn, Judge, why haven't you dismissed this case? Judge Emmett Sullivan has been ordered to explain himself. I think we already, you know what? We already did this. But anyway, the federal judge presiding over the case against former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn has been ordered by an appeals court to justify his reasoning for refusing to dismiss the case weeks after the Department of Justice asked that all charges against the retired Lieutenant General be dropped. A panel of 3 judges of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia issued the order Thursday, demanding that U.S. Circuit Judge Emmett Sullivan file a response within 10 days addressing Flynn's petition asking for the higher court to force Sullivan to honor the government's request to drop the case. Now, I'm not going to read more because this was actually about a week ago, which means next week, Judge Sullivan's answer needs to be before the appeals court. I think one of the reasons... Hi, Gamer Valine. How you doing? I think one of the reasons Judge Sullivan hired a lawyer, he might be in some minor legal jeopardy based on his actions. I don't know. But we've already established that the Supreme Court has already said that that there's no basis for this. There was another case that the Supreme Court took on just like a week ago. And the kicker is it was a 9-0 decision, and the judge who wrote the decision was none other than Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So I think Judge Sullivan might be on a little bit of shaky ground right now. I was actually looking forward to PDawg on those pieces of shit in Minnesota. Yeah, you'll have to go back. I'm not a good situation, and I am usually. Well, I'm pro police when they do the right thing, and I'm fuck the ones who don't do the right thing. And so these 4 guys, in the immortal words of Elvis Presley, fuck them. All right, let's move on to Twitter trends because it's that time, people. By the way, before I move on, though, thank you to Cynical Lindsay, Chicago Mike, Chi-Town Jay, the Green Pangolin. I'm not sure if that's Green Badger Outdoor. Oh, no, that's Green Thunder Demighty. Also, Necrosol Collins and Becca Fairley, who all tweeted out the show. So there you go. Still can't. She can still move. I'm not sure who. So anyway, thank you for everyone who tweets out the show and shares it with your friends on Twitter or Minds Gab, Facebook, or wherever you do that. I really appreciate all of you who do that. Let's get into the Twitter trends today. Hey, look at this on the Explore tab. It's not COVID-19 today. You would think on the day that we hit the grim milestone of 100,000 deaths, which is sad. I mean, it's obviously sad. I am not making light of that at all. Just full disclosure. But it's weird that on that day, this is the day that Twitter actually has something else on the Explore tab, and they have something HBO Max now streaming. I guess it's a new streaming service from HBO. Gee. Just what we need is another streaming service. I just, in my household, let's see. I subscribe to Netflix for the family, and we have an Amazon Prime account, so I get Amazon Prime with that. And then I got a free year of the Disney streaming service with my phone, because Verizon gives you a free year of streaming on that. And then for some reason my wife got Hulu, and then there's my son bought one too, and I'm like, we have between the 5 of us, between the 4 of us, and my son doesn't even live with us, but it's on our TV anyway. We get all the streaming services. It's kind of crazy, but I'm not. Once the Disney one, the free year that you get with Verizon, once that's over, unless it continues to be free, I'm dumping that as quick as I can, because I don't use it. I probably should watch what's the Star Wars thing that's on the Disney, whatever Disney streaming, whatever that's called. I might watch that series. Oh, The Mandalorian. I might watch that. But that's going to be a binge thing where I just watch as much as I can, as fast as I can, and so much for that. So anyway, so yeah, that's the HBO Max streaming service on the Explore tab. CDC Live. WHO provides an update on the pandemic. Oh, okay. So is this live or is this this looks like it.
To introduce Professor Thomas.
Oh, he is live. Anyway, new guidance from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention suggests that in areas where the prevalence of COVID-19 is low, less than half of those testing positive will truly have antibodies. The CDC also says that antibodies are not accurate enough to use to make important policy decisions. Okay, that's the EU has pledged $750 billion to help economies damaged by the pandemic. Let's see. CDC says pause. Okay, now listen to this sentence, because this is the CDC and this is Forbes reporting on the CDC. Tell me if there's anything in this sentence that makes you confident. Okay, confident. Here's the sentence. The CDC says possibly less than half of positive antibody tests are correct. The CDC says possibly less than half of positive antibody tests are correct. Haven't they been touting the antibody test? I think they're fucking with us. So this says, the CDC says, don't use antibody tests yet. It cannot be assumed that individuals with truly plus positive antibody tests are protected. Serologics testing should not be used to determine immune status of individuals until durability and duration of immunity are established. Okay. Then there's the CNN article there. Here, this is a thread. So let's just check the thread. In most of country, including areas that have been heavily impacted, prevalence of SARS-CoV-2, that's the current coronavirus antibody, is expected to be low, ranging from less than 5% to 25%, so that testing at this point might result in relatively more false positive results, fewer false negative results. The higher the sensitivity, the fewer false negative tests will give, the higher the specificity, the fewer false positives. Across populations, test gives more accurate results if the disease being tested is common in the population. If an infection has only affected a small percentage of people being tested, even a very small margin of error in a test will be magnified. If just 5% of the population being tested has the virus, a test with more than 90% accuracy can still miss half the cases. Okay, I can't even read it. I can't. How do they know tests are wrong half the time? That's a good question. But not even how can they know tests are wrong half the time? Remember what the sentence said? Possibly half the tests are wrong half the time. You know what I'd rather have them say? Here's 3 words that would be much more beneficial to me if they would utter these 3 words. We don't know. Right? Does that help as much as what they're saying right now? I have no idea. I don't even know. They don't know. Their story changes constantly. Let's get into the actual let's get into the trends today, because this is going to be a shit show too. Trending number 1 on Twitter right at this moment. Oh, and it didn't do that. Here we go. Trending number 1 is Wednesday wisdom, and I would be happy to find at least one minute piece of Wednesday wisdom, but the top one here is Goku, which is an anime character from a game. Okay, let's try it. Here it is. You have a moral responsibility to be the best version of yourself that you can be, and to help motivate others to do the same. Give anything less than your best is just a waste. Okay, I'll take some anime gaming Wednesday wisdom because that was actually pretty damn good, wasn't it? Let's try one more. From Milos Colombo says, I love the fact that Twitter is fact-checking Trump. They will need to hire a lot more staff to keep up with all the lies, though. Oh, fuck off. Twitter has no business fact-checking anybody on this site. I find it hilarious. Apparently they fact-checked one of Trump's opinions about mail-in ballots, and they used like CNN and, oh my God, and the Washington Post. The two probably most anti-Trump media outlets out there. I mean, I even say even more than MSNBC, where MSNBC is set up to be anti-Republican, anti-whatever. But CNN and Washington Post are supposedly objective, and yet they are very anti-Trump outlets. Ms. Krassenstein tweets also under Wednesday Wisdom, so this is obviously going to be an oxymoron because of the two morons that do this. But Brian Krassenstein tweeting, or excuse me, I almost messed up my line. This is my Brian Krassenstein or his uglier twin brother tweeting as one of their wives says, right-wing Twitter is flipping out because Kathy Griffin suggested that airhead Trump inject himself with a syringe of air. Meanwhile, Trump suggested that Americans should get injected by bleach, and these same imbeciles remain quiet. Wake up, America. Wednesday Wisdom. Well, fuckface! The president never suggested that you inject yourself with bleach. Not once, not ever. Even though that seems to be the common wisdom from the TDS crowd. No, the president was asking a doctor, what kind of things were they doing in testing? What are you doing here? What are you doing there? You know, are you testing? You know, I hear you might be testing light. And then some kind of, he said the word disinfectant, and, you know, that there's some kind of injective for light and stuff. And the guy in the press corps, about 7 or 8 questions later, said something about bleach and disinfectants when asking about a clarification on a question the president asked earlier, which had nothing to do with what the president said. And then from there, Twitter went nuts, including a company called Lysol, who tweeted out, well, we do not recommend that you ingest our product or stick it in your veins. He never suggested that. He never told anyone to do anything. He said doctors were testing something similar to a disinfectant, because there's certain disinfectants like rubbing alcohol, blah, 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 that immediately kill the virus. They're testing some things, had nothing to do with injecting, and he told nobody to do it. But the common myth has continued like wildfire, and we have assholes like Brian Krassenstein or his uglier twin brother tweeting under the name of one of their wives who thinks that is wise. No. I'll stick with Goku's Wednesday Wisdom. Let's move on. Trending number 2, 2020 BTS Festa. I wish Patrice Ripley was here to explain to me these K-pop references, but this is K-pop, and since my K-pop aficionado is not in the chat today, skip. Moving on. I had enough. Oh, the Twitter activists are on Twitter again. New hashtag. If you've hashtag had enough of real Donald Trump and his toxic tweets that demean the office, reply to or quote tweet this post with hashtag have had enough. And the Twitter activists have certainly obliged. Okay, but they're using it for a lot of different things. They're using it for the dog park lady. By the way, Christian Cooper has asked people to stop making death threats against, I think her name's Amy Cooper. A man who walks this high road is worth following. Oh, Gamer Valine, you are wonderful. Thank you for the $20 super chat and the Streamlabs link. Which one was that? Was that the Oh, that's the was that the high of the day? It must have been. That's thank you for the $20 super chat. Blood disinfectant is a thing. It's not Lysol. It's not bleach. Fuck, I make computer parts and worked on planes. I know that these idiots need to stop. Yeah, I hear you. Well, if you think about it, in a sense, chemotherapy, which is shit that can kill you, they pump that through people with cancer. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. So anyway, this dude, I find it so strange that people who were upset she tried to bring death by cop down on my head would then turn around and try to put death threats on her head. Where's the logic in that? Well, you know, Christian Cooper, like I said yesterday, Christian Cooper was being a Karen too. It's just that Amy Cooper, it's funny that they both have the same last name. Christian Cooper is the guy who was filming the woman with the dog, and then she got all upset and then started saying, "There's a black man threatening me," and da 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 da. And so she's trying to get the cops to come, which was fucking stupid. I mean, she took it to like 11 and a half, and she went super Karen on it. But Christian Cooper was also being a Karen, because she had her dog off the leash and he was going to film her. And Christian Cooper also. He also said one thing that really bothered me when I read his post from Facebook, and he said, "I carry around dog treats just for situations like this." So wait a minute, sir. So when you're trying to police people for having dogs off the leash and you carry around treats to give to their dog? Now, as a dog owner, and now let's say for example, I'm a dog owner, right? And if I was out walking my dogs or I was at a dog park, I would, or if I saw somebody else with a dog, I always get permission before I attempt to handle anyone else's dog. And this guy went and carries around dog treats so that when he's being a Karen about other people's dog, he can get them to lure dogs to him with the dog treats. I'd be like, don't give that to what if it's a dog treat that I don't want my dog to have? Don't give that my dog a treat unless you get permission from me. So Christian Cooper was going to be a Karen, but then Amy Cooper just went fucking nuts, and her life's fucked up now because of her stupidity. But so she was in the wrong. But I wasn't thrilled with Christian Cooper either. Anyway, I want to start a rumor that they're actually married and set this up, but I'm not going to. Anyway, so the hashtag warriors are out on had enough. Moving on. Trending number 3, that's had enough. Number 4, Carolyn Gomble. I don't know who this is. The world is waiting for an answer. Are we ever going to see justice for Carolyn Gomble? You can murder to silence the truth for a while, but truth and justice. This is the one. Okay, so Trump brought up this thing about Joe Scarborough because a dead woman was found in his office, and the coroner in that case did some shady shit as far as how he described the scene, and then they found out that there's some other different things that in that scene. So now people are bringing up this Carolyn Gomble case, which is actually a fake case, but someone says Donald Trump killed his personal assistant, Carolyn Gomble, in October 2000. He strangled her because she'd gotten her pregnant and was threatening to tell the press. Then he bribed NYPD Police Chief Bernie Kerik to cover it up. It's time to investigate. It's not true. It's not even. It's a fake case. Rick Wilson, Trump deranged Central. Man, I would not want to be in the White House this morning. Trump has manned his fecal catapult and is flinging shit everywhere to see what sticks. I wonder if this is about Carolyn Gomble. Yeah, that's... now they've made a fake account for her too. This is pretty sick. I hope Twitter takes notice that troll bots are out impersonating the late Carolyn Gomble, pretending she's still alive. Twitter TOS aside, is this not illegal? She doesn't exist. Oh my God. But it's getting around, isn't it? All right. Anyway. All right. That's going around. Great. Bertha's hurricane or tropical storm Bertha is formed around the South Carolina coast. If you live on the East Coast, the Carolinas, Virginia, be prepared for some weather coming in. The Departed. Oh, people are debating the top 10 gangster movies of all time. The Departed is one of the most perfect movies ever created. Someone says here. A lot of people like that one. Once Upon a Time in America, Pulp Fiction, City of God, Donnie Brasco, American Gangster, Road to Perdition, Goodfellas, The Godfather. There's a whole lot of good ones out there. Great gangster movies. Here's this one, this person's favorite, The Godfather, The Godfather Part 2, Goodfellas, The Departed, Casino. I love Casino. That's a good one. Once Upon a Time in America, Boys in the Hood is another good one. Eastern Promises, Menace Society, American Gangster, Miller Crossing, Killing Them Softly, all good movies. Reservoir Dogs. I don't know if that's a gangster movie so much. It kind of is, but anyway. All right, so there you go. Moving on. Trending. Oh, I got to do 2 clicks here. Number 8, Hollywood Studios. Walt Disney World proposes reopening in July. A bunch of these places are going to start reopening. Magic Kingdom, July 11th. Animal Kingdom, July 15th. So, July 15th for Epcot. So a lot of the different Disney properties looks like they're going to try to reopen come July. Kathy Griffin is trending because she... So I'm sure you already know why. She sparks anger for saying Trump should have been given a syringe with nothing but air. Comedian Kathy Griffin has divided public opinion, by joking Donald Trump should inject himself with air. Following the announcement of a new plan to slash the price of insulin for diabetic seniors, Trump told reporters at the Rose Garden, "I don't use insulin," asking, "Should I be?" In response, comedian Griffith tweeted, "Syringe with nothing but air inside would do the trick. Fuck Trump." Well, that's just Kathy Griffin. Here's the attention you asked for, dear. Anyway, moving on. Don't care. World of Disney. Make whites great again. Oh, this is that. So the officer. Now, of course, this is flying all over the internet. It's fake. Here is Derek Chauvin, the racist cop who kept his knee on George Floyd's neck, cut off his air passage and murdered him wearing a Make Whites Great Again hat. A clear sign that this piece of excrement should have been taken off the streets a long time ago. These are not the same people. And I think someone's confirmed that they're not the same people. Just so we're clear, Twitter isn't fact checking what's trending on the site. That's untrue. Anyway, are my eyes deceiving me? Why the fuck is Make Whites Great Again trending? They better be talking about laundry and not people. Yeah, that's because of this stupid hat thing. And here you go. And here's someone here that says, "Just so y'all know, these two are not the same person. I know he's an asshole, but we better correct than just jump into shit that isn't right. These two are both assholes, but not the same person. Fuck the cop, though." Yeah, they're not the same people, but that's why that's trending on Twitter, because of that hat. SeaWorld is trending. They looks like they're going to be reopening. Florida SeaWorld's reopening tomorrow, apparently. Let's see. Moving on, HBO Now. We talked about that earlier. Tom Austin. I don't know who that is. Is that someone I should know? Tom Austin, the venture capitalist who bankrolled the campaign to keep BDE Makaska named after a slavery advocate. Okay. A group of young black entrepreneurs have owned an office building in uptown Minneapolis for over a year, got racially profiled at the private gym today. Okay, that's something. I don't know what that is. It'd be real. Okay, this man's name is Tom Austin, and they've I swear, don't do anything stupid in the world ever again, because your name will get put out there. They doxed this guy because this group of black entrepreneurs have owned an office building. They own the office building in Uptown, and this guy decided to say some stupid shit. You know what?
What'd you say we can't do?
I'm Tom Austin. I'm a tenant in the building. Are you?
We're all tenants in this building.
What office?
Don't worry about that. I don't want to say
What office?
So we have an office here, and this guy came accusing us we can't be here.
What office are you in?
Don't worry about that. We don't have to tell you
Calling
anything.
911 then.
Oh my God. So,
As you guys can see, we're dealing with racism here.
oh, for fuck's sake. You know, why in Minneapolis? Why in Minneapolis? I moved here because it was a pretty cool place to live. And, but you know what? This guy just, if they said they live here, shut the fuck up. I mean, holy shit. So now he's made himself look like an idiot. Moving on, White Heat. I don't care. Big act. White Heat. What is it? Oh, that's one of the. Yeah, that was James Cagney. That's an old gangster movie. Anyway, moving on. Big Action, City of God. That's another one. Studio Ghibli is Kiki's delivery service is a perfect antidote to loneliness. Studio Ghibli's catalog is finally available to stream on HBO Max. So if you're into Kiki's delivery service, that's one of the things you can stream on HBO Max. Sorkin, which Sorkin are we talking about here? Andrew Ross Sorkin is exactly right here. Joe Kernan did not panic about anything. 100,000 people are dead from COVID. When did you get worried? 1 million? Okay, not so friendly fire on CNBC this morning. Let's see what he says here.
I'm sorry?
No, you're not. No, you're not, Joe. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead with the news.
You panicked about the market, panicked about COVID, panicked about the ventilators, panicked about the PPE, panicked about ever going out again, panicked that we'd ever get back to normal.
Joseph, you didn't panic about anything.
That? What good is it? Why
Joseph,
not help people
died.
keep their head? I understand that.
100,000 people died, Joe, and all you did was try to help your friend, the president.
I'm sorry?
Oh, okay. They got a little heated there. That's why they're trending. Young Forever. That's K-pop. Skip. Steven Jackson's. Steven Jackson mourns the death of twin George Floyd. Former NBA forward Steven Jackson remembered George Floyd, an African American man. Okay. A celebrity mourning the death of George Floyd. I appreciate that. But I'm gonna pass on that. Bertha's against trending. Everything else down here, yeah, All Lives Matter was trending this morning, and people were up in arms about that. Now that's dropped down. One thing, okay, let me just do a little quick thing about this All Lives Matter that trended this morning, because it was causing the biggest uproar, because Black Lives Matter was trending yesterday and into the evening and into the morning. And then all of a sudden, All Lives Matter starts trending. And I go on this hashtag just to see why it's trending. And almost everybody using the hashtag All Lives Matter was bitching about the hashtag All Lives Matter. It's almost as if nobody was really saying it. Nobody really, but it was started trending because someone's, probably, I'm guessing that somebody, said, well, we better not hear All Lives Matter. And then other people started talking about it. But we know for a fact that Twitter manipulates the trending topics on Twitter. And so I would guess that the only reason All Lives Matter trended this morning on Twitter, one, because all the people bitching about it, and two, because Twitter likes the conflict and allowed it to trend. They stop things from trending all the time. If it's something positive about the president, they will diminish that hashtag as quickly as they can and have something else in its place that's anti-Trump. If it's something that you think they would not like, they will diminish those hashtags in a heartbeat. And yet they let All Lives Matter trend all morning. Do you think that just might be Twitter enjoying the pot to be stirred? Kessler, good point. By the way, good morning, Kessler. Twitter loves division. Absolutely. I don't want to be completely cynical about events that are happening around the country, but so often it's so easy to just think, it's all part of a plan to cause more and more division, and I want a plan that lessens division. And so it's frustrating to see things like this. But I'm going to end the show with this. And I'm going to go back to where I started. George Floyd may well have done something illegal. George Floyd, he might have resisted arrest. He might have done a lot of things. And there's some people who are going to go, well, he was doing something criminal, blah, 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 blah. But I'm going to go back to my premise that George Floyd should be alive right now. George Floyd did not deserve to have someone with a knee on his neck. George Floyd should have been taken into custody and should not have died in custody. Our law enforcement officers have a duty not only to protect us from potential criminality or criminals, whatever, but they also have a duty to make sure that justice is served. And in this situation, not only did we lose the opportunity for any type of justice to be served, but we unnecessarily lost the life of a human being. No matter what he did. No matter what he did. George Floyd did not deserve to die in the streets of Minneapolis. And on that note, although it's a sad note, I'm going to leave you with that. We're here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 GMT. Again, Monday through Friday. Before you go, please, if you liked what we do, hit the like button on the way out. I don't even know how many people were here today, but hit the like button on the way out. And if you'd be so kind, share the stream. Also, if you want to help us in a manner that puts money into the show, you can do that through the Streamlabs link in the description down below, in the chat when you were here. And I will always read super chats, even though I might edit them slightly depending on my sensibilities. And if you do it off hours, if you're here watching a replay, you can also still do that. I'll read the chats at the beginning of the next show. And leave a comment in the comment section if you're reading a replay, because that way I know you're here and I can certainly acknowledge that you can drop by. I do really appreciate that. By the way, if you haven't watched my latest video, it's on my channel. You can find it there. I think it's only a minute and 8 seconds long, but I think it's pretty funny. And it's funny. It's like the first video in a long time that I've done that I've gotten close to 1,000 views in like the first 18, 24 hours, whatever. So check out my latest video. I was going to play it on the show today, but you're going to have to do that yourself. So anyway, thank you again for being here, people. I got to go. My name's PDawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawg Knight, and Thank you for watching today on the PDawg Night channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawg Knight, and I'm out of here.